Hey, this is Alex with AFS 401k, and it's episode number 65 of Money Hacks. And we're 4 months into working from home, as I'm sure many of you are. And so about a week or so ago, I saw an interesting article from Business Insider about tips for mental health when you're working from home. And this is the first time in my career that I've worked from home, continuously for 4 straight months. And so there were some really good mental health tips. And I thought that in the last 4 months, we've done a lot of one-on-one financial coaching sessions, helping employees and savers and investors at the different organizations and companies that we get to serve as retirement consultants talk about financial health, that this article had a lot of similarities from a mental health perspective that I think align with financial health. So I wanted to just touch on a few of those here quickly that I hope can give you good tips to take away and use when it comes to both your mental and financial health moving forward. The first tip from the article was setting up a time to unplug. And if you're like me, the first month or two of working from home, I would find myself going down to my office, to my desk at 8 in the morning and filling my day with meetings and conference calls and research and presentations. And it wasn't until 5, 6, or even 7 o'clock that I walked away. And I had this, after a few days, computer or screen time fatigue. Now in the last month or so, I've been better at being more deliberate of setting a time to unplug myself every hour or a couple of hours, even just for 15 minutes, or in some cases 30 minutes or an hour, to refresh and then go back into work. And I think when it comes to our financial lives, that's a great tip, especially when it comes to budgeting and cash flow planning. Don't try to tackle it all at once. And especially if you're trying to build out a family or a household cash flow plan with a spouse or partner or loved one, set up a time to have that discussion. Determine the length of time that you want to work on it together during a day or an evening. And then when you get to that time period and it ends, pause or end the conversation with the progress you've made and pick it up at another defined period. Instead of trying to just bombard your spouse or partner about conversation around spending or budgeting when the other person's not prepared. The second tip was to go outside. So I'm outside right now, and so this again, I think from a mental health perspective, is a great thing when you're working from home, to not only unplug but also to go outside, to walk out of your workspace. And when it comes to our financial lives, I think that's some multifaceted advice. First of all, in this environment we're in today, I think it's a great time to revisit your cash flow plan, your spending plan, and think a little outside the box. It's an extraordinary period that we're all facing. And so perhaps the budget or cash flow plan you put together in January doesn't look exactly the same today. So feel free to step outside, to look at it with a different lens. We want you to still have a plan and try to stick to a plan that's right for your short, medium, and long-term success. But it's okay to step outside and look at it differently, given that the circumstances are a bit different today. And then the third tip for mental health when working from home was to take time off or take days off that will be better for you from a mental health and a personal perspective, but also enhance and improve your professional success and productivity. And I think this applies to investing as well with financial health, especially for medium and long-term investment goals. We talk a lot about saving for our long-term futures in 401ks and 403bs, and part of that is setting up an investment mix that's right for your personal risk preference and your time horizon. And if you've done that and your long-term financial goal, your retirement, is 10, 15, or 20 years down the road, then you can take a break from looking at the markets, from following the ups and downs of the markets and the financial news and the economy on a daily, weekly, or even monthly basis. And if your financial goals are shorter, if you're saving in an investment account or a brokerage account for a goal that's 5 years or 7 years down the road, and you've got a mix that's right for you, you can still take that break of not having to worry about or monitor what's happening in the markets on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Those types of strategies, if you build them right and you don't worry about the day-to-day, can really lead to a much more efficient and successful investment portfolio. So I hope those were some good tips. Check out the article. I'll put it in the blog. And if you have questions, feedback, or comments when it comes to your financial life, feel free to reach out to us. We hope to see you again. Take care.